if I could ask Mr. Tan Jee Say on whether you agree that you could also be possibly running for the wrong office and the right venue for what you're championing might well be the general elections too.
Well, I think the direct answer to you is that the president, well, those Dr. Tony Tan, I will try to marry the two and see whether we can come out with a compromise or an answer to you. Dr. Tony Tan said it's a moral power. The president has got moral power. Mr. Tan Kin Lian said that, well, he would like to reflect the concern of the people. So you think the moral obligation of the president to articulate, to be a voice of the people, I think that's where I find the common ground between the two. It doesn't mean that you can show respect for Parliament in ways like showing empathy for the problems of the people. And that's what the president should do, like the Queen of England occasionally would show empathy. The Prince Charles, Prince whatever, the princess always shows empathy. The president must be a source of empathy. And he doesn't have to speak in strong terms. But occasionally, Prince Charles would also use strong words as well. But these are exceptions. But by and large, I would see the president as a center of moral power who must be a source of empathy for the problems that the people face. We are the most stressed society in the world, and the most stressed, where the workers are the most stressed in a survey of 14 countries. Don't Singaporean workers deserve empathy from somebody high up that say, Charm, I know you work hard, long hours, there is a future for you. Don't worry. The good days will come. Work hard, and you will see the fruits of your labor. The empathy, well, we will take care. I will tell the Prime Minister your concern. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the President saying that to the people? He has the moral obligation. If he is doing justice, if he is to do justice to his claim to have moral power, then he must empathize with the people.
I will allow one response from each of you on this, because I think this is a very critical issue in this election, which is the role of the president with regards to the constitution and his duties to the people. Yes.
I think just one clarification to what Mr. Tan Jee has just said. Prince Charles is not the head of state of Britain. He can say what he likes, and sometimes he says very controversial things. The Queen is the constitutional head of state of Britain, and she is very careful in what she says. When she delivers the Queen's speech in Parliament, it is her speech, it is her government. She appoints the ministers. She cannot be against her own ministers who serve on her behalf, and she's extremely careful about what she says. Otherwise, there is no government. The President is the head of state of Singapore. He has to be circumscribed in what he says. He cannot contradict government policy, because otherwise, where is the constitutional authority to govern Singapore? If you are independent royal, Prince Charles, even Prince Philip, yes, they can say whatever they like, because they have no constitutional responsibility. So I think one must be very clear about that.
Thank you, Dr. Tony Tan, for clarifying. Of course, I'm aware Prince Charles is not the sovereign head of state. But I was mentioning Prince Charles as in the next breath I mentioned the princess. It's just somebody high up there to show empathy to the people, empathy for the problems of the people. And I cited the example of Prince Charles because, well, he did talk more than the Queen, but that's, yeah.
Okay, I have my say now. Now, if the president is appointed by Tony or Cheng Bok, I won't be appointed. But if he's elected by the people of Singapore, if the president is appointed by Cheng Bok or Tony, then I'm out.
I can't appoint you.
You're right. If. Huh? But I'm elected, the president is elected by the people of Singapore, and they will make the judgment whether or not they would like to have a president who can be their voice, to represent their views. Now, I have full respect for Parliament, and if Parliament executes its role well in reflecting the wishes of the people, then there's nothing much that needs to be done by the President. But we do know our structural issues in Singapore. A Parliament that is dominated by one party, the party whip, to the extent that some of these very serious issues were not understood by ministers and by the Prime Minister until a few days before the General Election. Now, these are the facts that we have to recognize. So if we're going to depend on Parliament, I hope the new Parliament will be more active. And also, we need a Parliament that has more active debate. These issues have to be debated more actively in Parliament, and we need members of Parliament to be spending more time in their role as lawmakers, representing the views of the people. So we should have, I hope in the future, MPs that are not so senior, carrying so many jobs in the corporate sector or in the professions. So this, I would like to respect the role of Parliament, and if Parliament can do its job, that's fine. Now, I also want to say that in solving problems, we need a more constructive approach. Now, we have to identify the problems, and we have to find the means to solve them. And if I were the President, I would like to play a role in helping the government to identify the problems, and even with representing the views of the people, have that taken into account in the formulation of the policies.
Yeah, I was tempted to reply him as an ex-parliamentarian. But I think I want to refocus on this subject, because we are all talking about the powers of the President. I think so far we have been talking about all these executive powers. We all fully understand. It has been mentioned by Tony and so on. But I think the President is a symbol for Singapore. And any head of state should have some inherent powers within that carries with that position. For example, I want to be consulted as a President. I want to be able to report wrongdoings. And I also want to encourage, for example, all the social issues. I want to champion, for example, charities, sports. Now, this is the inherent role of the President. And also, yes. Okay, let's say there's a rogue. The cabinet has made something which I think is really wrong. It's not in the interest of Singaporeans. I cannot seek the cabinet decision. I cannot say, can I now report this to the people? Of course, the cabinet is not going to allow me. So that at this type of situation, I will have to avoid the cabinet. I will go straight to the people and report it. I think that's my role. Or else, what the hell they vote me in? So that is the position I'm going to take. I think the question of encouraging all these social causes, I think it is also part of the inherent role of the President. And of course, warning. For example, decisions that are made. And I think the decision is going to work adversely for Singapore. It is the right of the President to warn. But I cannot veto it, because I know it's within the Constitution. I cannot act on it. But if I don't veto that, I think, if I don't warn, I will warn. I will warn about this decision that's going to affect Singaporeans. If they don't listen to me, what do? I honestly can't do anything. But they will be reflected in the next general election. Because my role is quite clear.
Will you be doing the warning privately or publicly?
Of course, in the private.
Well, there's nothing to prevent the government, the President, from doing that.
Yes. That's why I want to say these are some of the rules that I must be very clear about.
Okay, I want now to move to your particular position, your campaign, and what you have said so far about what is it that you want to do with regards to this election. Again, I'll be directing the question to each one of you individually. Let me start with you, Dr. Tan Jee Say. You have said that you want to be a unifying force in Singapore, especially given how divisive the general election was. So my question to you is, why do you think you can be this unifying force? Why do you think you can do this job, this unifying job, better than the other candidates? What have you done in the past which would make Singaporeans believe that you have special qualities in this area?
Well, let me say I want to unify within this political diversity. I think we have this political diversity, and it's very clear. Now, how am I going to do it? I think I have to look for. I have to make sure that we are all talking at the national level. It must be above politics. At the national level, I will have to champion causes that will be able to attract the attention of all the various political parties. A simple thing, like let's say even football, as you all know, is something so unifying. And I think when I said about unifying within this political diversity, I would hope that all the political parties will actually all watch football together. I think it will be very good for the country. Because when we cheer as one voice. We don't cheer as diversified voices. So this is what I mean. Unity within this political diversity. It's not only football, charities. And there are so many other issues that is at a national level, so that we will attract everybody to come together. I think it's time that we all really have to look into our own the country itself. Forget about politics, because if we politicians we all divide the country. So this is very important for me. So that's the reason why I want to be this unifying figure. Why I can be a unifying figure? I think I have been in politics. And I've worked the ground for 26 years. And I feel many Singaporeans do recognize me. My past speeches, my past performance in Parliament, I think have caught the attention of many Singaporeans. They know I'm independent. They know that I am. I do things what I believe in and what I think is good for the country. And I really hope that Singaporeans will accept me as that person where they can trust to do this job.